Peter, welcome back to London. We are now, I know you have a raft of clocks in the New York studio. We have but one, but it's the most famous clock in the world, I think, Big Ben, which indicates that we have 5 minutes till midnight here in London. The estimates of the crowds here along the Thames have been 2 million, 2.5. I don't know. That seems conservative to me, because this celebration, when the fireworks start going off in London, is going to cover a 4-mile stretch of the Thames River. And the crowd is literally 75, 100 deep all along the river. An extraordinary sight is Westminster Bridge. I hope we have a picture of it that you can see, because it is absolutely jammed with people. It is chock-a-block solid with people, and all of the bridges up and down the Thames are the same way, as well as the northern embankment of the river, the southern embankment as well. Now, as you have concentrated on other cities properly, things have gone on here. Prime Minister Tony Blair, not too long ago, was along the side of the river. He extended a laser beam which shot across the river and started the Millennium Wheel, or the London Eye, as they call it, this giant Ferris wheel that has been constructed on the banks of the Thames that hovers 50 feet above Big Ben, that is going to be here for at least 5 years. I think it is equivalent to what happened in 1889 when the French unveiled the Eiffel Tower. Some people hate it, many people love it, but I think it will be a permanent fixture here in London. It symbolizes the clock, the passing of time. It is also very modern, it is participatory, and that people will eventually be able to ride on it, even though it didn't pass safety inspections yesterday. They've gotten this thing up in just a few weeks, and it will be, I think, a symbol of modern London. And Tony Blair wants London to be seen as modern. Now, I want to give you some explanation of what they're going to try to do in 2 minutes. The sun, as the Earth spins around, the sun is actually traveling across the sky at about a mile every 2.5 seconds. They are going to light the Thames on fire. It is called a river of fire, as they have branded it. The fireworks will start at Tower Bridge, and for 4 miles they will travel right down the river. It will appear as if the river is on fire, because it is the fireworks will be moving at the same speed as the sun across the sky, and they will cover 4 miles in 10.8 seconds with rockets that will blanket the sky at a height of 200 feet. That will be as Big Ben is chiming midnight. And then after that, there's going to be about 15 minutes of fireworks. The Britishers say this is, modestly say, this is the largest fireworks show in the history of the planet. They have 39 tons of fireworks. They're going to set off 45 major fireworks every second. So we have 1 minute to go. This is going to be quite a show. Now, Big Ben has a little bit of preliminary music that comes just before the bells start to bong. That is going to start shortly, and then the Britishers say will come the silence, which is about 1 or 2 seconds before you hear the 12 bongs of midnight. And as that begins, the river of fire will extend right up the Thames River. As we say, the crowds are very thick. The mood is very anticipatory. This should be quite something to see. quite something. The 16 barges that are planted along the river are disgorging the fireworks, and they are grand up and down the Thames, but I'm not sure they were able to light the river on fire the way they said they'd planned. I hope you can see the whole scope of the river, because it's like lace as far as you can see. As we said, from the Tower Bridge in the east to Vauxhall Bridge in the west, up and down the river. The only problem in seeing the fireworks is the smoke that comes from the previously exploded charges. Smells like a powder magazine here along the Thames. Of this, Peter, is just hard to believe as you stand here looking all the way up the river and seeing simultaneous fireworks shot from 16 different barges on the river. Perhaps it is a discordant note, Peter, but the only times I have seen pictures of London with explosions like this bring back memories of the Second World War and what it must have been like with bombs raining down on London. This country has been through so much in this century, and it is wonderful to see it celebrate this way.
Well, let's very briefly, don't go away, Charlie. We'll be right back in a moment, see whether they can light the Thames on fire after all. But let's check in very quickly elsewhere in Europe with Portugal. Getting to that stage in the day where it's hard to tell whose fireworks are whose. But that is Lisbon in Portugal, and before that was London and the Thames. And this Well, everybody recognizes this. Of course, this is Reykjavik in Iceland, where they are celebrating their midnight as well. One of the friendliest cities in all of Europe. One of the most literate countries, if not the most literate country by definition in Europe. Now let's go back to London.
This is due to go about 15 minutes, Peter, to continue nonstop through that period of time. Oh, New Year's would not be right without a silly hat, so I have brought mine.
I quite agree. I thought you were putting it on to protect yourself from debris.
No, it looks even sillier over this earpiece, but I wouldn't be able to hear you at all if I didn't have these on.
But you want to be reassured that you look silly, do you?
I do.
Yes. I'm sure our time will come at midnight. Charlie, thank you very much.
I'm afraid this picture of me will wind up in the file somewhere, and I'll see it for years.
No, there'll be nothing in the file about it. We'll keep it out and very public. Charlie Gibson.
The smoke is so thick, Peter, that you can barely see the fireworks anymore.
Well, I'm sure we'll be told tomorrow that the river really was on fire, that we just couldn't see it for the smoke. But it is something of a reminder for those people who pay attention to history that in 1900, when Queen Victoria was on the throne, she presided over the largest empire in history. 400 million people, 1/5 the Earth's surface. And now as we come to the end of the century, for all this fantastic show that they put on in Britain, on, around, and under Tower Bridge tonight, Britain's possessions have dwindled to about 15 dependent territories. Hong Kong went back to the Chinese, but the Falkland Islands are still British. And now it has evolved to become the American century. And this is the demonstration of a Labour government in Britain, led by Prime Minister Tony Blair, very much determined, as Charlie said earlier, to reassert itself as a technological, cultural power in the world today. Certainly a mecca, as you see there, for people from all around the world, as is New York. January the 1st, 2000, in London. Our coverage will continue.